Minecraft villages. Pretty shitty. To be fair, we shouldn't expect much from people who have their arms stuck together. Look at these guys. Think they know what a foundation is? Bricklaying? He's a baby. He doesn't even know what a camera is. Dumbass. Jokes aside, I do think the villages look a lot better than they used to. As much as we wish that we could have the unfairly good blacksmith chest back, I would rather have actual roofs than whatever they gave us in 2014. But I still think they could be better. Look at these roads. Think these are going to make it much longer? Have them just trail off into nowhere. That villager baby's going to wander off and get snatched up for a meat factory. But who will step up to the plate? A builder who can create beautiful sightlines and creative-looking houses? A redstone freak who could blow up an entire horde of zombies before they even get near the village? Someone else I can't think of? No. Not just because I don't have any friends that play Java and I'm not willing to play Bedrock, but because villagers don't need all that. What they need is a regular freak. Someone who's willing to spend 3 hours trying to troubleshoot a mod pack just to find out that it won't work because Create and Optifine get along just as well as 2 angry cats in a dog cage. And that freak is me. That bit about troubleshooting isn't a joke, by the way. I generally spent 3 hours testing out each mod together before I realized I just had to delete Optifine and install Sodium. I hate Create. But I can't just do this normally. Log in, rebuild one house, get bored, log out. That's what would happen normally if I was in complete control, because I'm physically unable to have a Minecraft world for more than a month without deciding to drop it when I feel even the littlest bit uninspired. To combat this, I'm going to try and fully complete the Ultimate Empire Challenge by Hi My Name is Dad on Reddit. This challenge spans 22 stages, each stage introducing increasingly difficult goals and restrictions in order to unlock further progression in the game, ending with you trapping the warden and caging him in the middle of your city, like a warning to your villagers that if you can trap a warden, you can do much worse to them. I was actually introduced to this challenge a couple years ago when CallMeKevin did a short series of videos going through the first couple stages. I love you so much, Kevin, I'm glad that car hit you. But I was recently inspired to actually attempt to do this challenge by Blackscotpig and his Developing a City-State Minecraft series. I'll link the Reddit page and videos I'm talking about in the description if you've been living under a rock and don't know anything about what I'm talking about. But because I'm me, I also needed to add another layer to keep myself interested. Maybe it's because my attention span has been rotted by scrolling on TikTok for 7 hours a day. Maybe it's because I've wasted thousands of hours playing The Sims 3 and 4, but I wanted to add world building. Spinning stories out of a couple pixels is my bread and butter, and as I go, I want to create actual lore for my Minecraft world. I want to document the actual history of my village, from the very humble beginnings to the hopeful and prosperous future. I want to focus on how my villagers might interact with each other, where they gather, and what they like to do. Even if what they like to do is get stuck on trapdoors. All that out of the way, I want to go over the actual rules for the challenge. Now, there are quite a few blanket rules that are laid out, but I'll just go over the really important ones and bring up the others when they come up. First, when you first spawn in, you'll need to give yourself 6 villager spawn eggs and 1 bell. These 2 things are the foundation of your village and are what will signify that you've chosen your village location. Second, you can only mine stone and ores that are on the surface and in direct sunlight. There is some wiggle room with ores, and you could theoretically go down into mines and get extra, but I'll stick above ground for now. Third, you can't create any kind of farm, animal or plant, until stage 4. You can plant crops along natural water sources so you can breed your villagers, but you're stuck hunting until you realize you can trap them with fences. And fourth, every villager must have a bed. This is kind of self-explanatory because you can only breed as many villagers as there are beds, but if something like a creeper explosion happens and beds are lost, you're blocked from progressing in your stage until they're replaced. Now with the basic ground rules laid out, we can finally go over the specific stage challenges for this episode. I think for future videos, I'll focus the whole episode on one stage just so they don't get super long, but because stage 1 only has one goal, I decided to smush stage 1 and 2 together so I would end with a basic village setup. Stage 1 only has one goal: find fertile land for your clan to begin a new life. It follows all the basic ground rules I talked about earlier, plus the extra challenge of no torches outside, which I will misremember as no torches period, no beds, and no permanent shelters until you find your settlement. I'll talk about stage 2 when we get there. Okay, so day 1 we spawned in between a desert and a mesa. I wanted to be able to show me actually creating the world so I could do a bit about the name, but the footage got lost somewhere because of just how long it took me to try and figure out the stupid expressions mod. The just moves thing? Yeah, it took me 5 hours to set up this mod pack, and 2 of them were just on trying to get these expressions working. I couldn't even get them working. Like, every time I thought I did, I would just log back in and my skin would just be glitching. I literally changed my skin to match one of the templates from the mod. I was elbow deep in, like, Block Blast or whatever the skin editor is called, and it still wouldn't work. I still don't understand what I was doing wrong, and I swear on everyone's soul, if the issue was just that my skin had dot eyebrows, everyone is in fucking danger. And the bit about the world name was that the name was going to be My Belly Hurt, and I was going to go in this whole thing about how this entire time I was troubleshooting that damn mod, I was also so nauseous because I ate a bunch of unripe pawpaw fruit with heavy cream, so I was trying not to vomit every time I thought about that fucking concoction, and I was also having liquid fucking diarrhea. I've had Taco Bell 5 times since that stupid lettuce parasite dropped, and this is what fucking gets me. Anyways, one thing I forgot about playing without biome mods is that Minecraft biomes can get really fucking big. I kind of thought about setting up my village in the mesa for some added challenge and so I could practice a different style of building, but I was like, oh, I'll come across a forest in like a minute, so I'll just keep on walking. I was in that bitch for like 40 days and 40 nights. It felt like I was so pissed. Just endless desert and mesa with no trees or anything. Even the mine shafts I found didn't have any chests on the surface, and it felt like cheating to try and go down to get loot, so I was just kind of wandering around. And I lost all my hunger in like 5 minutes after I spawned, so I had to walk everywhere like I was in beta. Night comes and I haul myself up, only to emerge wet and hungry like the day I was born. I did actually manage to find something interesting, this villager tower, but because I'm spiritually a villager this run, I ran around it. And if I get even one comment saying that I was just too scared and didn't want to die this early, you will be dealt with. Also, this area kind of looks like W.D. Gaster. I still subscribe to the Sans' Nest theory, so I'll get MatPat out of retirement to connect the Minecraft lore to Earthbound soon. But finally, like the sun rising on a desolate earth, a tree appeared. Now, this tree is probably the only one around for miles, and is the only way that the desert rabbits are able to get any kind of shade, so obviously I cut the entire thing down and didn't replant it. Now, emboldened with tools, I decided to start mining so I could get my hands on some stone tools and make life easier for me. Only to then misunderstand the Reddit post and think that stone tools were banned until stage 3, which I only just now, as of writing this, realized. Awesome. I put so much work into building my future home when I get there, all with wooden tools, when life could have been made so much easier if I had just even a little bit of reading comprehension. I really do need to go back to school. Perhaps to reward my vow of making life harder for myself, I then found a village that I promptly ransacked for all of their wheat so I could finally eat and stop suffering with the Ozempic epidemic. I also holed up with this random villager for the night and just stared at them the whole time. Also, for some reason, put in my notes, quote, "Do they know" meme and broke in all caps, so I'm not really sure what I had planned for this guy. The next day I set out again, finding some coal and weird-looking stone, before I finally reached new land, which was an ugly savanna biome that didn't even have the proper savanna colors, so what's the point? When I was younger, I used to lie and say that acacia wood was my favorite wood because I wanted to be different and I felt bad that no one else liked it, but I've grown enough to say that I do think it's ugly and I will be joining the hate mob, so onward we go. I did actually find another village that I ransacked, but I wasn't recording, so I can't show you any footage. But I did write down, "Leather guy got all on me because I was stealing but can't look me in the eye, ... you'll be first," in my notes, and then left a waypoint that said, like, "You're next," or something. I think I did all that because later on in the challenge you're supposed to take over other villages, but I really don't remember being so excited about it. But I'll keep my word to him and I'll have a special cage just for him. Soon, my threats to the villagers and my ransacking of their home paid off, and I was rewarded for my pillaging and voyeurism by finally finding where I wanted to settle down. A large forest along a river near mountains with lots of rooms to grow and hopefully spearhead the Industrial Revolution. And with that, we're on to stage 2. Now, stage 2 is normally where the challenge actually starts if you don't spawn in a desert and putz around for 2 days, so it has way more requirements than stage 1. And by way more, I mean 4 more. Stage 2 has 5 main goals. Build a house, build 2 houses for your villagers, spawn all of your villagers, place your bell, and have a villager population of 6. Which doesn't make a lot of sense because if you spawn all your villager eggs and you already have a population of 6 villagers, so what are you doing in your first day if you lose them all already, but whatever. This stage has all the restrictions of stage 1, but you are now allowed to use a bed, and no villager can have a profession. With night quickly approaching, I didn't have time to stop and celebrate my accomplishment, and quickly built a very basic starter house so I could stay above ground without getting completely murked by 30 zombies. I did take a moment to have my first ever sleep, before I continued building my first ever house. Just so everyone knows, this house and the houses that I built for my villagers are not permanent, and my plan is that as I'm told to expand the village, I'll tear down these starter houses and try to make better looking ones in their place. Chances are, as I go on, the buildings will go under multiple renovations, but I'll probably be able to create some history for my town by creating old and new districts based on how my building style changes and improves. As you guys watch my subpar building content, I'll also take this time to admit that the only reason I'm working on this video right now is because I'm avoiding rereading Frankenstein for school. I know no one really cares about that, but I feel like I should confess that somewhere. But I did realize while reading the little bit that I did that I lied to my friends about one of the really major plot points of the book. So if they don't actually read it and just go back to school believing me, that I can make them look really crazy about it. So that's one thing to look forward to. Now, I'm sure by what you're seeing, you understand why these buildings are only temporary, but city girls make do, and I continued on to making houses for my villagers. Now, I was planning on just cramming the villagers into 2 small little houses and establishing my rules accrual one, but the challenge states that for right now, every villager needs at least a 2x2x2 space to live in, so I had to switch course and start making these weird little L-shaped huts. I just made them all in the same style as my house for ease right now, but I tried to have kind of like a 70s transitional moment by putting in trapdoors to separate out little spaces for each villager. It's serving more of a 70s obsessed homeless encampment than anything, but we move forward. I finished both huts and decided that I would place the bell in the middle of all 3 houses so that the villagers would naturally gravitate towards it and spend less time wandering off into the woods. The placement of this bell isn't permanent, so it'll probably end up changing quite a bit as I experiment with building placement and decor. This little stolen wool pedestal is not final. With the bell placed, I can now spawn all 6 of my villagers and call stage 2 officially completed. Also, now that we have actual villagers to call our own, I get to fully enjoy how fun they look with fresh animations. Look at this dude. He just wandered off from the rest of the villagers to stand in the woods and just smirked at me about it. I love this dude already. If you made it this far, thank you so much. This little challenge is something I've always wanted to do, but being able to record and post it for other people to watch is what really kickstarted me to actually set it up. I already have a lot of ideas for how I want the village to look and what kind of style I might go for, and I'm really excited to actually try to attempt them. I also think for next time I'm going to try out a mod that is kind of like Minecraft Comes Alive if it really only affected villager AI. It makes them a lot more useful and interactive, and recently updated to add a villager economy, which I think could work super well with this challenge. I still need to do some testing with it, and there might be some conflicts that get it kicked out of the pack, so it may or may not be in the next video. Speaking of, chances are my next video will be on stage 3 of this challenge, so if you're interested in seeing that, be sure to subscribe. I'm also open to taking idea suggestions in the comments, whether it's building ideas or anything about the editing. This voice of God type commentary is really fun, but I could definitely use some pointers on how to refine the style. Either way, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, comment, subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next one.